The movie starts by telling us something crazy. There are over 200,000 miles of gas pipelines running under the oceans, and to keep them working, they need expert divers. This job? It's one of the most dangerous in the world. People risk their lives doing it. Now, the story we're about to hear, it really happened. It all begins in Scotland. We meet a young diver named Chris. He's just gotten home to his fiancée, Morag. He tells her he got a new assignment. He's leaving the next day and will be gone for a month. She looks worried. But Chris, he tries to calm her down. He tells her diving is kinda like being an astronaut, just underwater instead of space. The next day, Chris heads to the ship. He greets the crew. There's Craig, the dive team leader. Then Duncan. He's been diving for 20 years. And there's David, the lead diver. He's a bit cold. Chris tries talking to him, but David keeps it professional. No small talk. They all go into a pressurized chamber for 4 days. It helps their bodies get used to deep-sea pressure. Chris pins up a photo of Morag by his bed. David sees it and tells him to forget about everything outside. He says, "When you're down there, nothing else matters." A few days later, they reach the dive site. Time to get ready. Chris, David, and Duncan get inside the dive capsule and start the descent. They hit 300 feet below the surface. David and Chris get out. Duncan stays in the capsule to monitor and guide them. Chris is a little nervous. David tells him to relax, just follow instructions. They start working on a broken section of pipeline. But up on the ship, something goes wrong. The communication system breaks. They lose contact with the divers. And even worse, the ship's thrusters fail. It starts drifting away. Craig, the team leader, orders Duncan to call the divers back up. David tells Chris to stop what he's doing and climb back fast. But Chris's safety line gets tangled. And then it snaps. He's stuck underwater, totally alone. He switches to his backup oxygen. It'll only last 10 minutes. David says, "If you don't get back to the pipes, no one can save you." Chris lights a flare, trying to find his way. He finally sees the pipes again. He climbs up but slips. He lights another flare and tries again. This time, he makes it, but his air runs out. He's about to pass out. Then, he remembers Morag, her voice, her face. She told him to come back. That memory gives him one last burst of energy. He clips himself to the pipe, then blacks out. Up on the ship, the team gets a video feed working again. They spot Chris. He's lying on the pipes, not moving, but his hand twitches. Maybe he's still alive? It's been over 7 minutes with no oxygen. Craig comes up with a wild idea. They'll use the robot arm on the underwater drone to grab him. It's risky, but they try. The robot grabs him, but he's stuck. He had clipped himself to the pipe. Smart move, but now it's stopping the rescue. It's been 16 minutes. No air. Back in the capsule, Duncan tells David about a past mission. They never recovered one of the bodies. He says, "I can't go back to Morag with just Chris's stuff in a box." David suits up. He's going in. They finally fix communications. The captain tells them, Chris is still there. David dives. He finds Chris, unclips him, and pulls him up. It's a struggle, but Duncan keeps encouraging him. David gets Chris back inside. He's been under for 29 minutes with no oxygen. Duncan starts CPR. Suddenly, Chris breathes, but he's not waking up. They talk to him, call his name. Nothing. Then, Chris says, "David." He's back. They all freak out. It's a miracle. They pull the capsule up. Chris and the team go into decompression for 4 days. Day 1, David visits Chris. He tells him how long he was out. Chris says, What kept me going was Morag. I promised her I'd come back. David finally understands. Day 2, Chris calls Morag. He tells her he's safe and will be home in 2 days. Day 4, they leave the chamber. Chris hugs Duncan goodbye. Might be his last dive. Chris heads home. Morag runs into his arms. She asks, what really happened? At first he lies. Says he saved another diver. She knows the truth. She asks again, was it you? Chris says, yeah, it was me. He tells her, she is the reason he's alive. Then the movie ends with real footage. This really happened. Chris was underwater for 29 minutes, without air, and somehow he survived. No brain damage, no injuries. Doctors still can't explain it. We see his wedding to Morag. Duncan's there too. And later? Chris, David, and Duncan went back down. They finished the job, this time with no problems.